Sussex slipped to their second defeat in 3 Friends Life T20 games this season, losing by only 3 runs to high-flying Surrey on a dramatic night at the Oval. Surrey batted first after winning the toss, with Jason Roy and Stephen Davis hoping to get off to a flyer for a side which came into this match on the back of 2 successive victories, one of which was over the Sharks just last week. This pair opened up with a stand of 26 in the opening 4 overs. There was a worrying moment early on when umpire Trevor Jesty was hit on the shoulder by a powerful drive from Roy. Jesty may be 65, but he waved away the stretcher before ambling to square leg for the next over. He also did save Sussex 4 runs. Davis was the first man to go, one of the many batsmen to make a start in this match and then get out. On a run of ball 11, he lobbed a simple catch off Chris Liddle to Luke Wright. Roy continued on and chanced his arm a little bit. Twice he drove a fraction over extra cover to the frustration of the bowlers. With him going well, the 50 was brought up in the 7th over, and his wicket now appeared to be a rather significant one. And it was got by Scott Styris, whose wicket-to-wicket bowling proved to be too good, as Roy was legged before for 29 at 53 for 2. Ricky Ponting is yet to make a real impression in this season's domestic T20, and he'd made only 6 here when he lobbed Michael Yardy to become the first of a number of batsmen to be caught on the boundary's edge. The next to go that way was Glenn Maxwell. Dwayne Smith, not a man you could afford to hit a ball anywhere near in the air and expect to get away with it. Azhar Mahmood was the 5th man to go with a total on 79 in the 13th over. Will Beer this time making the most of the batsman's lack of power, as Mahmood was held by Chris Jordan. Finally, in the 15th over, a Surrey man did use the sufficient club to clear the rope. Gary Wilson used his feet well too to make the most of this delivery from Beer. Wilson added 24 with Zafar Ansari, who perished at the start of the 17th over when he got a regulation nick off Jordan, the former Surrey man having some success back at his old stomping ground. It was left to Wilson and Xander de Bruyne to set a challenging total, the last ball turning out to be crucial, as that was nailed for 6 by Wilson, who ended unbeaten on 44 out of his side's 139 for 6. It was a gettable target for the Sharks, but one made more difficult by a poor start to their reply. To the 9th ball, Chris Nash nicked a good one from Mahmood behind. Then, next ball, Rory Hamilton-Brown also nicked off for a golden duck against the county he was skippering last summer. And to make matters worse, Wright was then bowled off the bottom edge by John Lewis to leave the Sharks in some trouble on 11 for 3 midway through the 3rd over. On Sunday, it was these batsmen who'd starred at Lord's, but it was now left to the others to contribute. Smith threatened to take the game away from Surrey with some brutal hitting, whereas the home batsmen had, for the most part, struggled to clear the rope. Smith did it twice in a single over from de Bruyne, an over which helped Sussex out no end. Smith raced to 26, but his 15th delivery was also his last one, as he was bang in front to Lewis's clever slower ball. And when Yardy, whose 4 overs earlier had brought him the excellent figures of 2 for 16, fell for 27, comfortably stumped by Davis off Gareth Batty, the game was back in the balance, with the visitors now left with 63 to get of the last 9 overs, but with 5 men out. That should have been 6, only for Joe Gatting to be given a life by an extraordinary drop off-screen by de Bruyne. It soon became clear that Styris' innings was going to be the crucial one in what was by now becoming a rather tense game between 2 evenly matched teams. Styris helped himself to boundaries off the ultra-expensive de Bruyne, whose 2 overs went for 34 runs. It was a shame he didn't have to bowl more. With 4 overs to go, 31 were needed by the Sharks, but then Jade Dernbach, who's having a superb competition, came back on to bowl Gatting rather fortuitously. So now 28 were wanted off the final 3 overs, and Styris stepped up a gear and appeared to be taking his side over the line. Mahmood went for 14 runs in his penultimate over, that including this beautifully executed clip for 6. The Sharks were now favourites with 14 runs required off the last 2 overs, but crucially Dernbach bowled Styris for 46, in an over that cost just 2 runs, and when Jordan was then run out by Maxwell, coming back for a much needed second, 11 were left to get off only 5 balls. Beer took 2 runs off each of the next 3 and then a leg bye, which left Ben Brown needing to find the boundary off the last delivery. He tried the ramp but couldn't connect off Mahmood, and Surrey had done just enough. It was an exciting encounter in which Styris claimed the Man of the Match award in spite of ending up on the losing side. Dernbach, who took 3 for 15 in the reverse fixture at Hove, ended with 2 for 18 from his 4 overs this time, with Lewis taking 2 for 15. The 3-run defeat leaves Sussex in 3rd place in the South Division, and they next meet Hampshire at home on Friday on what should be another thrilling night.